This is my conflict of interest. So we as PID doctors communicate quite a lot with parents, and usually we speak about microbes, about infections, and about vaccines in a simplified manner. But we usually do it on a one-to-one basis. And from this COVID pandemic, we have learned quite a lot, and we have identified that there is a great thirst by the public to look at medical information. And the public can resort to lots of different platforms, such as the traditional platforms like TV, printed papers, radio, and internet, to the more modern platforms, which include most of the social media like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, which I'm sure you are familiar with. And communicating with parents is really an art, and what is our responsibility is that we are responsible to provide parents and the public with correct information, which might also not always be true, especially through social media networks. And as doctors, we are not usually used to speaking to large audiences, and usually when we receive an invitation from a journalist or TV presenter, we might either be afraid and try and run away from it, or else we might dump it on others. And really, we should not be afraid. I mean, we should assess the invitation, make sure that it is genuine and not scam, and then look at what the presenter is looking for, what message the presenter wants us to present. And what is important is that we look up the recent advances, and what I find very important is that I ask for the questions. So we should ask for the questions so we prepare ourselves properly. And we really know our audience, so we know that we are going to be heard by the parents, usually young parents who are really concerned about the health and well-being of their child. And depending on the culture that we work in, we might also have the grandparents who provide lots of influence, especially on their grown-up children and even on their grandparents. And then we might have the children who are usually our fans. It was not the first time that a child told me, "Hey doctor, I saw you on TV." And very importantly, we have to keep in mind in which context our audience is functioning. So during this COVID pandemic, there has been lots of information as well as disinformation which has been transmitted to the public. And there has been a huge influence by politicians who might interpret medical knowledge in their own manner and transmit it to parents. And parents also look up on the media, looking up medical news, and they also look up their child's symptoms on the famous Dr. Google. And they might remain either perplexed or very anxious, or else they might think they have got a diagnosis for their child. And our role is to provide the correct information to the parents, and usually we base our information on the latest evidence, on results from meta-analysis, and from information from peer-reviewed journals. And very crucial, we need to use layman terms. So I understand that we are used to using scientific terms and thinking in a scientific manner. But if we speak in a way that parents do not understand us, that might be disastrous and leave an unhappy audience, or worst, you might have someone who would have misunderstood or misquoted you. And what is important is that we take time to prepare and we transmit the correct information in a manner that the public would understand us, and that should be our main goal, to transmit the correct message. And once we have everything prepared, then we can deliver. So we have lots of platforms that we can use, and we can speak about infections, how infections are transmitted, and how they manifest. And of course, we have to speak about vaccines. And vaccination is always a hot topic on parents' mind, and they do appreciate that there is someone who is knowledgeable who can speak about vaccines and can reassure them. And On that note, I would like to finish here. I'm very honored to receive this ESPID Communication Award and thank ESPID for it. And I hope that my work would entice you to start speaking, or as you already do it, to continue speaking and transmit the correct information to the public. And I sincerely thank you for your attention.